What's up, everybody? Welcome to Hammerdown Motorsports. We are here in the Rebel today, and well, we have a little bit of an issue that I encountered the last time that I took it off-road, and yeah, it's not exactly something that I'm all that surprised about, just because of the way that we actually did the lift kit on this truck, which was, if you guys don't already know, the Readylift SST lift. Now, there's a reason why I went with that lift opposed to getting a regular normal lift kit for this truck, and well, in the end, doing it properly. So with the SST lift, what you get is basically just a glorified spacer lift kit that gives you upper control arms. Turn this fan down. So what you do is there's a preload spacer for your spring, but it's not made for a Rebel necessarily, and Readylift definitely has this on their website as well, from what I know. But I got this early on, and I saw other people that had this lift kit in the Rebels, and they didn't seem to have any problems. So it's kind of like, well, you know, it's just a little bit of a higher spring. It really shouldn't be that big of a deal. But it turns out there is a little issue that I have encountered with the way the geometry works with our front CV axles. Now, this is something that some people had brought up to me after I did this lift kit on the Rebel. They said, no, that doesn't work with the Rebel or the 4x4 off-road kit, Laramies, or anything like that, because of the bigger spring. You're already starting at a higher point, and then when you put this kit in, you are actually higher than what you should be for what they require for the proper driveline angles. With that being said, we went on the beach the other day, and mind you, we've been on the beach several times with this truck, and it was fine. There was no issues whatsoever. We put it in four-wheel drive, we drive down the beach, and really not any crazy angles, nothing like that. It's just kind of bouncing around a little bit on the ruts, and never had a problem with any kind of noises or vibrations or anything like that. But now, when I put this thing in four-wheel drive, so we're driving along, we hit four-wheel high, let that shift in. Now we're in four-wheel high. Now, just cruising along, no issues whatsoever. I'm gonna go through this little narrow tunnel here. Got the people out golfing today. It's actually a pretty nice day today too. Starting to get some little bit warmer weather. It's like 57 degrees. But yeah, just cruising along. No issues, no vibrations, no nothing. It's kind of a curvy road here, and you can't really go all that fast, so just kind of going for a straight stretch to kind of demonstrate this. I'm gonna slow down, and then now, it's probably hard to see because it really doesn't shake the wheel a whole lot. You kind of feel it more in the pedal. But yeah, the front end is kind of wobbling around a little bit. And it's just, those axles in the front are definitely not happy in the angle that they are right now. We will go underneath the truck and I'll kind of show you exactly what I mean. But yeah, I don't really drive this truck in four-wheel drive on the road because there's really no need to. But I've only really had it kind of in an off-road situation, like in the snow, we were playing around in the yard, and when going in the sand. And now I probably wouldn't really notice a vibration, but I did hear a little bit of kind of like a rotating squeak sound the last time I was out. And yeah, that was kind of a little bit concerning to me, because with our Readylift SST lift, the front axles on a Rebel are not in a good driveline angle position. So now that we have this issue, there is a couple of ways that we can fix it. We can end up just taking out the SST lift completely and going right back down to a stock ride height. That's going to bring our diff down and straighten out our front CV axle angles, and we should be all good. Shouldn't have any issues whatsoever. But, well, we do like the lifted look on the truck, and running the 35s, that's kind of the reason why we lifted the truck in the first place. We could probably go ahead and try to source a drop bracket for the diff. And if you guys know of any kit out there, or if there's a part number or something like that for something like that for these trucks, definitely help me out and drop that in the comment section and help out anybody else who's having this issue. I've kind of searched around and really haven't spent a whole lot of time kind of trying to source that just yet, but I could probably get on the phone with some of these lift companies that have that in one of the bigger kits and be able to possibly buy that bracket from them and be able to install it on the truck, and we should be all set as far as angles go with that as well. But there's also a third option, and that would be to actually just remove the SST lift, do what I should have done in the very beginning, and just buy the full lift kit and have to cut a little bit into our truck to make that all work, because there's a drop bracket for our full front suspension and all that. And that's really the right way to do this. The reason I went with the SST lift was mainly because I wanted a bolt-on lift kit that I could go back to factory if I wanted to, because obviously with YouTube, sometimes we'll have a vehicle, we'll do it up, keep it for, you know, a year, year and a half, 2 years, 3 years, who knows. As long as the vehicle is still creating content and whatnot, you try to keep it around, and then when you're done, you want to be able to have the option to go back to stock. So this is my second Ram. Things have been doing awesome. I definitely love the Ram community that I've been a part of with you guys, and trying to figure out some of the issues with these 5th gen Ram trucks. And this is just kind of another one of those things. And honestly, I never had a problem until today. I've got over 10,000 miles on the truck. We're going on 11,000. And yeah, the lift kit's been on for quite a while. I don't exactly remember the mileage that I put it on, but it's been on here for a very long time, and this is the first time I've ever noticed that vibration. So it might take a little bit of time to actually develop into a vibration for some of you guys, but it is a concern of mine, and I definitely don't want to have to do any axle damage or anything like that, or end up having an axle fail when you're on the sand, and trying to get out of that would be pretty difficult in 2-wheel drive. So just cruising along in 4-wheel drive, I really don't feel it at all. I still have it in 4 high, but even just a light acceleration, you feel that front end start to shimmy. I don't know if you can see the truck moving at all, but yeah, it's not something I want to continue with, especially taking the family down the beach. I want this thing to run true and all that kind of stuff. But we do have something in mind, if you guys have been following along on Instagram, that might become something that more of our off-roady type vehicle, because, well, the Rebel is a good off-roader if you have the right lift kit, or if you leave it stock. You don't get the ground clearance, but you know, everything is where it's supposed to be, if that makes any sense. And you can kind of play with it in that respect without any real issues. I think if you really stretch this truck out with the SST lift, you could maybe pop an axle. I've heard some stories of people that have had issues with that. So yeah, if you plan on off-roading your truck, do not buy the SST lift. It's really just kind of a cheap way of not having to cut your truck and putting on a 35-inch tire, which is exactly what we did here, and up until now it's really done a good job of that. But yeah, this is the issue we ran into, so I'm sharing it with you guys because, well, this is YouTube, and YouTube is real on most channels anyway, and this is just kind of the journey of this truck, so I want to share it with you guys. So I guess it is decision-making time. I hope I can find a drop bracket. That's probably going to be the easiest way to solve this. I don't exactly want to do the big lift kit, just for the same reasons why I didn't buy it in the first place. And yeah, going back to stock wouldn't be my first choice either, but it definitely is a possibility, just because I want to be able to have something that I can drive around without having this kind of issue in 4-wheel drive. So decisions. Drop in the comments. What should we do? What should we do with this issue to fix it? Should we keep this Rebel around forever and just cut the thing up and make the bake lift kit and all that kind of thing? Is that something you guys want to see on here? Because I don't know. I just, there's always something new coming out, and I just don't want to commit to that point on this truck, and I kind of have a vision for the future, so I don't know if 100% we're going to have this truck in a year from now, and to invest the money and the time into putting that full lift kit into this truck, and then take it to a dealership and say, hey, I want to trade it on this truck. They might be like, oh, well, this thing's lifted, and we're not going to have any room on our lot for something that's this modified, and we we can't, you know, all the games that they like to play. You know, everybody knows you go to the dealership and you get the runaround from the salesman. And honestly, a bone stock vehicle is gonna sell well at the dealer trade-in auction. So that's really all they want. So yeah, I don't know. It's a tough decision, because I know it'd be super exciting to be able to put that proper lift kit on here and actually go out and play with this thing out in all kinds of off-roady kind of conditions. And I mean, hey, maybe we will do that. I don't know yet. I'm not entirely sure. We're kind of in a transition point in the channel with the vehicle situation, being that we've had this one for a little while. We only have not even 11,000 miles on it, and we've had a lot of fun tearing it apart, putting all kinds of goodies in it. If you guys are new to the channel, there's a whole rundown on the channel. I have a playlist for this truck of all the different fun things that we did, and kind of made it unique. And I really have enjoyed the truck during the time that we've had it. So just know there is something else on the way. I hope. It's nothing's guaranteed till it sits in the driveway, so I guess I'll leave it at that. But I just want to make this quick video for you guys. If you guys didn't know, our surroundings are a little different. We went on a little trip here down to Maryland, so we're checking out a little bit of the warm weather, hanging out of the ocean. And I just kind of want to get into a groove, because a lot of times I'm back and forth between Pennsylvania and Maryland, so I kind of want to share this area with you guys as well, and just kind of the experience of, well, being in the ocean areas and all that kind of stuff, because there's so much more off-road here than just what we have in Pennsylvania. Obviously now we have 2 venues, so I gotta try to find some off-road areas out here. Obviously we go on Assateague, and that's a lot of fun out in the sand. But yeah, I mean, I still have a lot to learn about this area. If you guys are in the Ocean City area, definitely drop me a comment down below if there's any kind of like trails or off-road stuff that I definitely need to check out around here, because I'm pretty new to it and there's always more to learn, definitely. So now here we'll give you a little bit of a under view of what we're looking at. So this right here is pretty much where our problem lies, and if we could lower that diff down, we would straighten this angle out and wouldn't have that kind of binding is what we're having. Really, it's causing that vibration, and would make everything nice and happy under here. So I don't know, I guess we're gonna have to make a decision and see where we go from here. But on the bright side, the Dukes of Hazzard horn has been working great. So there it is, everybody, and I know some of you aren't going to be surprised that I ran into this issue by putting the SST lift on the Rebel, because, well, they tell you not to do that. But I did see a lot of people in the beginning putting them on the Rebels, and nobody ever reported any issues, so I figured it was worth just kind of getting out there to put the maximum amount of lift on this truck without having to cut it up. So sometimes when you try things, you run into issues, and that's just kind of how life goes, and that's what YouTube's here for us to share this kind of stuff with you guys. And if you guys are getting into this truck and you're trying to decide what you want to do, this kind of gives you an idea of what you might run into with certain avenues you might go as far as lift kits. But this is just my story, and I kind of want to share it with you guys. So if you guys have any questions or any advice for me, definitely drop that in the comments. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, and as always, keep that hammer down. So here we are at the boat ramp. You can see there's a lot of foam down there. I mean, it's probably because of all the weather that we've had lately. It's stirred everything up, but I do plan on having something that we can put in the water here this summer. So hopefully everything comes together with that as well. Just like I said about the other thing that we're having come our way, this is another thing that we have to wait and see until it shows up, because I know better than to hold my breath on something that is supposed to come and then things happen. So yeah, that's just another kind of little insider thing for you guys who made it this far in the video. But this is the boat ramp, and I can't wait to be able to get out on the water and have some fun. So yeah, more to come on that.